Hello, Steve here. Welcome to Real Health. Who'd have thought health is about what we're eating? Join me on my quest to disseminate my go-to health regimen, the Health 44, my clumsy branding of eliminating 4 classes of food, introducing 4 classes of micronutrients. Bingo, bongo, health sorted. So thank you for your interest. Let's do this. Right, here we go again. Populations and their diet versus health, how they end up. Covered in different ways, of course. Even particular diets have been discussed on the podcast series especially, and a bit on other videos, but this is all now integrated. And my hypothesis, I think it's a theory, but let's go for notion. For most people, we need to acknowledge that our food supply chain, our diets are becoming homogenized. We're all converging into the same sort of diet exposure. The amount of processed foods out there and where we source our meat from and the like. So that's going to be the conclusion. So you got a bit of the conclusion before how I feed into it. So in the past I've covered the diet tribes, the carnivores, the ketos, the vegans, the vegetarians, pescatarians, the Atkins, all the rest of it, all the nut eaters, the frutivores, the frugivore, yeah, I think that's frugivore, insectivores, yeah, that's a thing. So on top of that, I've discussed the Okinawans, the Mediterranean diet. That's pretty much the quick summary. I've even explained some of the ideas on American Indians, subcontinent Indians, the differences in their health and life expectancies, that sort of thing. Even Northern and Southern Europeans I've discussed. North and South USA. Right, so here we go. Let's just quickly recap the Okinawans and the Mediterranean diet. Both of those regions end up being in the blue zones that have a high longevity lifespan statistic. A few anomalies in there. Mediterraneans is skewed, with the Sardinians clocking up 90 plus with most of their population, but that's also going south. The reason why the Mediterraneans clocked higher versus the poor Americans and the Europeans and whoever else, is that the Sardinians pulled up the average. The Southern Italian, or is it more the Northern Italian? Well, let's just suggest that all Italians have a life expectancy of barely 70. I've heard somewhere high 60s. I haven't examined their actuarials, their insurance industry, because they're not to be trusted, for starters. And for seconders, there's going to be all these anomaly talks and because of this, because of that. The Sardinians pulled up the average. The Mediterranean diet with their olive oils, fruits and whole grains and all that sort of thing, fruits and veg and whole grains, other oils. Olive oil is the main one, but the whole grains and the olive oil, it'll just take you back down to the average couch sitting, Cheeto eating, smoking Westerner that's watching Netflix. Okay, because as everyone, the 2.2 regular listeners and viewers will know, it's all about the Health 44 here. gluten is out. I'll go through quickly the Health 44: gluten, oils, sugars, nitrates out. That's the first four. The 44 eliminate 90+% of the supermarket. Bring in 4 classes of micronutrients. There's 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 essential fatty acids, making up the 90 declared essential micronutrients. They're declared because we can't manufacture those micronutrients in the supply that we require. That even goes with vitamin D. So, the whole grains and the oils is just dragging the Mediterraneans down. The Sardinians are being also dragged because they're incorporating now more in their diets the pasta and the breads, the coffees and the like. Coffee, what? That increases longevity. Well, there are risks if you don't go organic because of the mold exposure with the coffee. If you just think where coffee is grown, hot climates, harvested, put into silos, cool overnight, moisture, evaporation, moisture in the coffee equals mold. So just understand that quickly. The Okinawans, a few anomalies in there. The Okinawans, it was discovered by Joel Wallach that we measured how much they peed and shat. We looked at their daily existence. Oh, they're very spiritual. They exercise. They have connections and all that, and then we attribute longevity to connections. Okay. I'll accept that it has a bearing. Maybe a cherry on top. Maybe 5%. Maybe 10%. Not the majority. It's the bricks and mortar. The micronutrients, the bricks and mortar. Okay, macros equally important as the micronutrients. These days, I'd say the micronutrients are more important because we need to digest them, then absorb them, and then get dependable daily supply. If you're just supplementing and you're still eating a Mediterranean diet, you're stuffed. Just smoke, eat Cheetos, be on the couch, watch Netflix, and you'll die at the same rate. I don't like to say those provocative ideas, but that's the way it is because 98% of us cannot digest the glutens that we're taking in. So it's better to just eliminate glutens, the wheat, barley, rye, oats, buckwheat, and I would suggest greatly reducing the other grains or even eliminating. I've eliminated for the last approaching half a year. So, and I've improved even more. I've had, before that, for nearly 4 years, I had a bit of rice and corn as my staple grains, but it was a fairly small amount of my diet, but that's gone now as well. And coming up shortly, I'll be including my bikini body cake, which I've been trying for probably 6 months, around the same time as well. So with the Okinawans, Joel Wallach discovered that they put ash in their noodles, and that ash inadvertently, unknowingly, had more minerals, and that's why the Okinawans lived longer, because of that practice, the ash practice that they used. Okay. Also, much of their, I've heard recently, 80% of their macros, their calories, are made up of pork fat. Because even vegans need to supplement some sort of satiation, some sort of calories to make up, say, 2,000 calories. And a lot of it is made up of oils, avocado oil, coconut oil, canola oil, and olive oils. If they come from the supermarket, rancid, oxidative stress comes in, trans fats, heterocyclic amines, acrylamides form in your circulatory system, and they will also die at the same rate as the couch-sitting, Cheeto-eating, smoking Westerner. So that's the anomaly with the Okinawans. How about the Hunzas and all? Well, here's where I feed into the whole, it's starting to converge. And as a populace, we're not going to increase our life expectancy. I've mentioned this quite often. We are going to drop. Not quite like a stone, but we're going to drop. Each 50 years, 5 years less of life expectancy. That's my prediction forecast. I've mentioned northern Indians are wheat-based versus the southern Indians a bit more rice and corn-based, as in subcontinent India. There's differences in the now I'm moving to the American continent. The Indians, the Navajos. What's the other Indian tribe? Navajos, and the other greater existing Indians. It might come to me. Sorry, but yeah, basically, it wasn't the Navajos that. It might be switched around, but the Navajos, I think, had the wild rice exposure, where the who was it? But I might think of it. They're more wheat-based, where the Scottish introduced wheat and all that sort of thing, and they're suffering. And there's differences in the Pima Indians and the Mexican Indians, where the American-based Indians are way more medically compromised versus the Mexican Pima Indians, and but that's also converging as well. I'm feeding into the whole converging of diets, homogenizing our diets, and who else should I homogenize? Let's go to the US. Most of the viewers are US. North US has a life expectancy 10 years more than the Southern US. Southern US, barbecuing, meat too well done, wheat-based. Historically, the Northern US was quite corn-based, and they baked their meat, and a bit more potato, a bit more sweet potato, that sort of thing, to make up their macros. But that's converging as well. That 10-year difference is also becoming a little bit less now, because they're all into the highly processed foods, right? And the whole world is diverging into a processed foods consumption condition. The great life expectancy of the Australians, outdoors and all that sort of thing, that's also going to go south as well, where I'm from. The Scandinavians, with their preserves, that sort of thing, that's going south as well. The Africans, with their ample supply of natural foods and harvests and that sort of thing, will also go south. Did you know that Africa is suffering more in obesity versus people going hungry now? Another little anomaly to chuck in there to provoke, perhaps? No one's. How can I provoke when I only have 2.2 watches? And the whole convergence thing, we're all converging, eating the same sourced foods. There are little pockets I've heard of recently. There's little pockets of sustainable agriculture, farming type communities. Okay. But if you got wheat in there, same sort of thing. It doesn't matter if it's old wheat or new wheat. Same thing, glutens with the rye, barley and oats. And if you're doing your meat well done, still health hazard. For the carnivores and ketos out there, don't overdo your meat. No more than medium rare in your red meat equivalent. Otherwise, I've had a recent episode on cooking implications, and That's that. Don't overheat and don't overcook. Even the overheating part in searing, the whole searing the top of the steak and having the middle nice, that searing part, health risk. Health risk. Trans fats, heterocyclamines, acrylamides, glycation. A little bit better than the overt gluten consumption, but it's still quite hazardous. And for the sugar people, if you're craving sugar and the fried food and the salty food, all that sort of thing, salt is okay, but together with the bad foods, you have pica, you have micronutrient deficiencies, and you better do the Health 44, what I described just before. So, because we're now converging, we're getting our foods from the same sort of sources. The cows are eating the same sort of soy and the corn and whatever else ranchers are giving their cattle. Same sort of issues. Chicken, same sort of issues. A little bit less of an issue than obviously the overcooked meat and the gluten intake. But if chickens are basing their feed on wheat feed, corn feed is very highly pesticide sprayed. So we have hazards all over, but we can minimize those hazards by doing the Health 44. So there we have it. That's the idea of convergence, because the supermarket has the same sort of sourcing of food. Therefore, that's where the convergence is. We're all homogenizing into the crappy food that we are eating, and many of us think that we are eating healthier by buying healthy options and that sort of thing. No, not really. There are improvements, but our health condition and state is southbound. By 2100, I'm postulating our life expectancy as 72, not 80 and beyond. So that's it for now. Until the next time, hopefully. Bye-bye.